Hello class, welcome back to another short video lectures. This week we're going to go over the topic of integers. Okay, so those who know what that is, good for you, but those who are not familiar with it, this is time where you take note and work on some exercise as well. So when it comes to integers, the definition of that will be positive and negative whole numbers. Okay, so before we do any kind of operations dealing with integers, there's something very crucial that each of you will need to know about it. That is the comparison of integers. So say that we try to compare integers. Before I begin doing that, let me just draw a number line first that contains numbers 1 to 5. And let's take a look. Let's say I pick the numbers of 2 and 5. Well, obviously in this number line we're looking at the positive 1 to 5. So can we say that 5 is greater than 2? Okay, I hope that is absolutely obvious to you guys that 5 is definitely greater than 2. So what's the point here? The point of drawing this number line as well as this notations of 5 greater than 2 is that you have to know that the numbers to the right, okay, the numbers to the right is always greater to the numbers to the left, okay? Now take a look, coming back to our integers comparisons. So let's say I want you to compare 2 and negative 3. Which one is greater than which? Okay, now we can draw a bigger number line. That 0 is in the middle of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. Hopefully you have a good model of what a number line looks like when it deals with negative numbers. And now I'm going to look at the points of the numbers of 2 and negative 3. Remember, what we try to say from the earlier example is that the numbers to the right is always greater to the numbers on the left. Same thing on this number line the big number line we draw in here. That because 2, the number positive 2 is on the right side to the numbers of negative 3, so we will say that 2 is greater than negative 3. Okay. I will keep the number lines up, and we're going to try a few more examples. So let's say I take a look at the numbers of 4 and negative 4. Okay, so when it comes to 4 and negative 4, it will be here. That stands for positive 4 and -4, which is right here. Okay, again, if I ask you to make a comparison between 4 and -4, because +4 is on the right side of the spectrums, where -4 is on the left side of the spectrum, then you will know that +4 is always greater than -4. Okay, the last examples I will work on with you guys is, let's say, -3 and -5. In this case, I'll change the colors to blue. So let's jot down the dots on top of -3 and -5. Okay, so look at the two blue dots on the spectrums on the number line, and you have to ask yourself which numbers is on the right side of the spectrums. Well, in this case, although none of which is on the positive spectrums, but -3 is on the right side to the numbers of -5, so we know that number 5 is greater than -5. So -3 is greater than -5, or sometimes if the order is -5 begin first and the -3, so it's the same thing essentially, but so we already established that -3 is greater than -5, so it will be -5 is less than -3. Okay, I hope at this point you have a sense of what we're looking at in terms of positive and negative numbers. You know how to compare. You can identify which one is greater than or less than the other numbers. Okay, now we're going to talk about adding integers. Okay, we're going to start with the numbers 6 and 3. Again, integers, the meaning of it is positive and negative whole numbers. That's what integers is. So meaning part of what integer is still adding positive numbers. So say that I have number 1, 6 plus 3. That will equal to, well, obviously you should know that 6 plus 3 is 9. But let's say number 2, I have 6 plus -3. So how are we going to do that? Again, let's draw the number lines where 6 is somewhere here, 7, 8. Okay, something like that. If we go back to number 1, question number 1 of 6 plus 3, what we try to do is that we try to plot down the first numbers, which is 6, it's right here. And number 1 is 6 plus 3, so we have to, on the number line, that's how it will look like, that 6 is moving 3 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3, that's how you get to 9. That's why 6 plus 3 is 9. But now I have 6 plus a -3. In this case, when I add a negative numbers, move to the left side. So instead of going to the right side for 3 units, I will go to the left side for 3 units to answer my number 2 questions, number 2, which is here. So 6 plus -3 equal to +3. Okay, so when you do integers operation, well, when you add integers at this point, you have to know that when adding negative numbers, shift the unit, meaning move the numbers, the whatever numbers you're adding with, to the left side. And the second note of which is that when you add a positive numbers, just like number 1 on the board, you have to shift the unit. In that case, number 1, I shift 3 units to the right side. Okay, so copy that down, and now we're going to take a look at a few more examples before we move forward. But I'll still keep the notes here. Okay, number 3. Let's take a look at -4 plus 2. And I will draw a lumber line here. 0, 1, -2, -3, -4, -5. It's good enough. So again, we should always plot down our first point first. Our first number is -4, so it's here. Again, I am adding a positive numbers. Okay, when I add a positive numbers, okay, sorry about a negative. So let me complete the notes. And negative numbers, the positive numbers over here. Okay, so when I add a positive numbers, I have to shift the units to the right side. So in this case, I am adding 2 on my -4, so I'll move 2 units to the right. So okay, which means -4 plus 2 will give you -2. Let's take a look at number 4 with an example of, let's say, -3 plus -5. Okay, to do so, we're going to draw that number line again. -3. Okay, so that's the negative numbers from 0 to -10 on the number line, and the question is -3 plus -5. Okay, our first number is -3. So -3 is right here. Now I'm adding a negative numbers, so I have to shift 5 units to the left. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So then I know that -3 plus -5 is equal to -8. Okay, so that's what we will be looking at when it comes to adding integers that involves positive, negative numbers. I hope at this point you have a sense of what we need to do, how we should approach adding integers. In the next video, we'll continue to talk about the rest of the operations, meaning the subtractions, multiplications, and divisions.